off my chest. I've been choosing my words lately, staying careful not to offend. Every sentence you utter accuses you in the end. Trying to treat my brothers like brothers, that's more than friends. And I look up on them with an evil eye, cause that's a sin. I don't need no more enemies, we at the end. It's bad enough the evil is trying to find a way in. The serpent about to turn up, and I need a fan. No, I cannot just walk on my own, I need a hand. The scriptures say, gather together the more. If you try to survive, then you must not believe the report. We gotta stick together. I ain't talking about building a fort. When I say we a team, I don't mean like we playing the sport. It's too late in the game to be switching up the game plan. We hit the water, we supposed to be changed, man. Let's get on the Father that we passed the test. Not the heresies must be made manifest. I get it now.
This what we doing now. We opening up with music.
Hey, we gotta keep it fresh, you know.
Hey, bro. Yeah,
this is what the class is about, right?
Woe to the world because of offenses. Woe to the spirit that causes a division. If thine eye be evil, then pluck it out. If you got an art with your brother, then work it out. Woe to the world because of offenses. Woe to the spirit that causes a dissension. If thy hand or foot offend thee, cast it away. If you got an art with your sister, that ain't the way.
All right, Ephraim, you can cut it. Hey, shalom, 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 shalom to all Israel, those that know that they're Israel in the last days and those that don't know. Shalom, shalom. We are YAHAWAH'S camp. Welcome to Warzone Wednesdays. I'm your brother Yashu.
And brother Ra'am. Shalom, this brother Yashawan Ban Yahawadah.
Hey, shalom, this is brother Mahar.
Hey, shalom, this is Shapar Bangad.
Shalom, this is brother Amat.
All right, all praises, man. So we are here for another Wednesday night class, and what a class that is we have for you today in the spirit. In these times that we're in the last days, that you know, if you didn't know, now you know, we are living in the last days. We are children of the last days, man. What a generation that the Most High has brought forth, you know, in these last days to pick his word up and understand it, you know, in its truth and sincerity in his last days to bring forth to the nation. But we have a lot of divisions amongst us, right? And one of the worst divisions that we have amongst us is the household, the family, the man and the woman, right? And when you see the division of the home, you see the pollution of the children, right? And we got to first clean up that original congregation, that household, that original order that the Most High set up, right? You know, that way we can clean up the nation as a whole and ultimately join ourselves as one stick in these last days. You know, it's time to put away all of the offenses without making right for them. And it's time to come together with your brother and your sisters, you know, in the Hamashiach Yahawah. This is all about his word in the last days. A lot of times we get in these scriptures and, you know, we think it's our word. You know, we think it's about us, man. But, you know, we wouldn't be nothing without him who set forth and laid the blueprint for how men and women should walk in the last days. What's the commandment that the men should be doing in the last days? What commandments did the Most High set out for the women, you know, from the fall in the beginning and to the time of which we are right now, right? So we don't want no divisions amongst ourselves, amongst our homes, right, and amongst the congregation and the nation of Israel in the last days. So I want to open up with a few scriptures just to go and show how we, for one, bring forth the lessons and understandings in the last days. Let me get the book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verse 10. Somebody, let me get the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 134. All right, because this is how we spiritually break down the word in the last days to bring forth the edification so that a child could understand it. You know, we got to make it plain for the people in the last days, man. you know, because Israel's a very complicated people, you know. So the book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verse 10. How do we understand these words in the last days? Go ahead.
Con. The book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verse 10. For precept must be upon precept.
So
Precept.
understand this, in the last days, you got to put commandments with commandments, all right? You got to start to understand the laws with the laws and break these things down so you can clean up yourself. Go ahead.
Precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little.
Right, because when you go line upon line and you start breaking down and you start putting these codes together, then you get the understanding of the scriptures. That's those lines right there. All right, let me get Psalms 119, verse 134.
Con, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 119. And what scripture?
134.
And 134.
Mm-hmm.
Deliver me from the oppression of men.
No, Psalms 119 and 134.
God, that was, hold on. Yeah,
That's
Psalms 119 and 134.
104, Salati, 104. Excuse me.
104. Okay,
Yeah. Excuse me, beloved.
Through thy precepts I get understanding.
So he said, through thy precepts I get understanding, right? That's how we understand the scriptures in the last days. Go ahead.
Therefore, I hate every false way.
Right, because when you start to understand that there are things that are in the Old Testament and there's things that in the New Testament, they mimic each other, and you get the understanding from the Old Testament and the New Testament and parts of the Apocrypha that most of our people don't even know exist or care to even read these records, right? So through the scriptures, through the precepts, right? Through the volume of the book is how we get understanding. We don't cut the Most High's words short. Okay, we go through and through to get total understanding in the last days. All right. So beautiful, beautiful. All right, let's open up. Let's get it going. Right. Let's see what's going on in today's time. Right. Let's see what we got to do. It's the book of Mark. All right, let's go into the book of Mark, St. Mark, chapter 10. The book of St. Mark, chapter 10. Start at verse 3.
You got that, Gad?
Con, I got it. This is the book of Mark, chapter 10, verse 3.
Uh-huh.
And he answered and said unto them,
Mm-hmm.
What did Moses command you? And they said, Moses suffered to write a bill of discoverment and
Divorce.
Slakia, a divorcement, and to put her away.
All right, so Salathia, right? All right, let's just go back to the top on this. So why am I going into this, right? We in a time where not only are brothers putting away wives for every cause and reason under the sun, right? You got women that are putting husbands away. You know what I'm saying? You got more women of today's time that are actually guilty of divorcing husbands, you know, for every cause under the heavens, right? When you get chance, Ephraim, while I go through this real quick, can you pull up the statistics on the rates of the stats on women and the divorce rates in America right now?
Con.
Between men and women. Let's just see what is going on, right? Right, because we gotta make sense of the times we're in order to clean ourselves up, right? So going back to the book of Mark, chapter 10, verse 3 says, and he answered and said, unto them, what did Moses command you? Right? And verse 4 says, and they said, Moses suffered to write a bill of divorcement and to put her away, right? Because as a people, we was ready to just put our women away for any reason under the heavens. It didn't matter, man. We saw any uncleanness with a woman, we was just putting her away. And we know through the scriptures, right, through the power of the Hamashiach, that you can't put that a woman away unless it's for fornication, right? But well, listen at this right here. It says, and we just gonna read it as it's written, right? It says, and Jesus answered and said unto them, for the hardness of your heart, he wrote you this precept, right? We're going into precepts here, right? He wrote you this precept, this commandment, this understanding here he's going into, right? He says, but from the beginning of creation, God made them male and female. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. So then they are no more twain, but one flesh, right? So that union that the Most High have put together from the beginning, that bond, that covenant that he made, right? From the very beginning, from the time that he brought Eve to Adam, right? Before she even had the name Eve, when he just brought forth and Adam named her and said, listen, this is my woman, right? We're going to go into it. You understand? They was connected in total unison under the heavens, right? With no division, with no wrong within them, right? With total love, right? In verse 9, it says, what therefore God have joined together, let not man put us under, right? So let not man put the division and the devices of separation before us. Rather, if that be you as a man, rather if that be you as a woman, right? Rather if that be you as a leader of a congregation in the nation of Israel right now, because all of this is going to intertwine itself with the many divisions that we are faced with as a current nation right now, as a people. There's so much divisions even within the very community that we are representing in the last days, right? As a nation of Israel, we have many of our people with knowledge and wisdom of the law, statutes, and commandments that will still expose their wife on the internet. They'll expose their husband on the internet. They'll make a whole video exposing one another, right? And you know the word, you know the wisdom from on high, or do you, right? What type of leader are you to even look for, to even try to expose your wife, for the world to see? That's something you do private. Everything is not supposed to be online, all right?
That's Salakia.
Con.
That's heavy that you said that, because what's funny is people are exposing their wives, they exposing they husbands, but the question is, why aren't they even exposing themselves? Right? You
Got
see what
him.
I'm saying? Because they'll expose everybody, but they won't expose themselves though.
Nah, they ain't gonna put their own self out there, King.
That's right.
Yeah, they ain't gonna put their own business out there. They ain't gonna say what they did wrong. They're gonna go to doing that right there. Let me see who I can point this finger at, man. This magic wand. Let me wave that magic wand. All right.
Hey, what do they say? When you pointing one finger back, and when you pointing one finger, you got three pointing right back at yourself.
Hey, there you go, man. That's that ultimate spirit of the division, of the divider, right? That spirit of Satan. So you got to ask yourself, if you are the one and you're guilty, the majority of the things you do when there's something that's wrong, and you go to point that finger instead of examining yourself, we're gonna get through it, right? To show you are a part of Satan, right? You're not a part of the Mashiach Yahushua. Because if you was, then you would totally be examining yourself first before you go into any matter to correct a situation. You would see what you did wrong. That way, when it come to you, you're already accepting of it. You see that? That's how that works.
Hey, I got those divorce statistics if you need them right now, King.
Go ahead, drop them. Let's see.
So surprisingly, it says that divorce rates are actually falling. But I have a hypothesis behind this. I think it's because people aren't getting married the way they're supposed to. Right? You see what's going on in the world right now. Everybody turning gay. You know what I mean? So it's like marriage is at an all-time low because of the fact of the agendas that are being pushed in the world. And you can see it's dropping at a very rapid rate. Right? 73% is going down.
Right. So I could just tell you based off of what I've researched is roughly about 80% of you know, the so-called black woman is guilty of divorce. 80%. 80%.
So Lucky, I was gonna say that too. What Ephraim said about the divorce rates dropping, because if ain't nobody getting married, then can't nobody get divorced.
Exactly. Right. Hey, everybody partying and living it up, man. Right? Got to make America great again. All right, but let's go into it, man. Let me get the Lord's Prayer real quick, man. Let me get Matthew chapter 6 and verse 7. All right.
The book of Matthew chapter 6 verse 7. But when ye pray, use not vain repetitions as the heathen do.
Right. We're not supposed to pray as the heathen do. Many of us still have not yet learned how to pray accordingly, right? Even when you think of the nature, right? We see what us men, what we do in our service. And, you know, I've been trying to show forth a spirit of lamentation for women in the last days, man. And if a woman of righteousness in his last days, you got to listen up. Our women should be mourning, and our women should be crying out, for the land of Israel. Our women should be crying out for the mighty warriors and the mighty men to return back and to righteousness, into rulership and power. That's the only way we're going to take back this kingdom. Do our women truly want us to be those lords in the last days? We got to ask ourselves, what are you praying for? You praying for the car? You praying for the damn the Birkin bag, the new job, so you could buy all your desires, your shoes with the red bottoms. Our men want the new car with the rims on it, right? We got to get to the bag so you could go to the strip club and throw all your dollars, for nothing, all vain things, right? We pray for vain things. But when we gonna start to pray for the things that matter, the things that is really about building this nation up? If you truly believe in this book, like you say you do, then you should be praying for the uprising of your nation, and the rise of your men, your kings within the earth, right? Go ahead.
It says, as the heathen do, for they think that they shall be heard for their much speaking. Be ye therefore like unto them. Be not ye therefore like unto them. For your Father knoweth what things ye have need of.
Right, there you go right there. So a lot of times we go to the Most High with a lot of stuff when we pray. Your Father knows what you need already. You know what I'm saying? But you got to have that faith and that balance to understand that your Creator already know the wants and needs of yourself. You be wanting stuff that you don't need, that the Most High don't even see for you. You got to want what the Most High see for you. You got to pray for the Most High to strengthen you up as a mighty warrior in the last days for your nation. You got to pray that the Most High, seal more servants in the last days. You gotta pray for mercy upon those that are still falling short and keeping the commandments. That's what we gotta pray for, man. We gotta pray for the laborers. The righteous laborers. Those that ain't got no divisive tools amongst them, no spirits of division. Everybody coming, and everybody's a leader all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not a leader, man. Even the Hamashiach YAHAWAH'S, he had all of the wisdom in the world, but when he came forth for his first miracle, he told his woman, his mother, he said, "Look, woman, the hour ain't come yet. I ain't ready." You know what I mean? So how we got men walking around, with the little wisdom that they have, with 2-3 years within this knowledge, all of a sudden you're a leader of men. You ready to do miracles, huh? We gotta start to humble ourselves down, man, and really come down and join ourselves. Everybody can't be a leader. We separating ourselves. Instead of joining together. We got all these camps, right? Let's come together, though. Let's bring the camps together. Go ahead.
And grab the precept.
Yeah, come on.
This is Ecclesiasticus, chapter 28, verse 1. He that revengeth shall find vengeance from the Lord, and he will surely keep his sin in remembrance. That's in brackets. 2. Forgive thy neighbor the hurt that he have done unto thee, so shall thy sin also be forgiven when thou prayest.
That's right. How many of our people go before the Most High with prayer, right? And we put that on people to say, like, yeah, I'm praying, I'm praying that I get away from this. I'm praying that I'm over here. You know what I mean? But you ain't even forgave the person where the offense came from. You know what I'm saying? You ain't forgave yourself. You ain't forgave the person. You just ready to depart altogether. But you think the Most High is listening to you, right? He's answering all your prayers, right? Or is Satan? Go ahead on that, Matthews.
Come, because Satan answers prayers too.
I thought you knew.
I was just gonna say that. You beat me to the punch. Damn.
You can start at 7.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
Oh, you said Matthew, man, Mark. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
For your Father knoweth what things ye need of before ye ask him. After this manner, therefore pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth.
Stop right there. Right? So it says, thy kingdom come and thy will be done. Right. Let me get Psalms 40 and verse 7. Right. We got to understand this. This ain't about our will, right? When the Most High, sent, his precious beloved Son in this earth to be that righteous example for the nation of Israel, right? You gotta understand, man, that he sent him to do his will. He didn't come to do his own will, right? He had all of the power and all of the wisdom from on high, but he still did his Father's will, not what he wanted to do. How many of us are doing what we want to do? Right? Let me get that Psalms 40 and verse 7.
I got it. This the book of Psalms, chapter 40, verse 7. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me.
Right, stop right there. So you got to understand this. If you come from a so-called Christian background where you solely uphold the New Testament, then you're misunderstanding the spirit right here in this psalm right here, because we know the Hamashiach YAHAWAH'S said the same thing. There's a record in the book of Hebrews where it's written, lo, I come in the volume of the book, for it is written of me. right? So if it's written of him from the beginning, and we've been going through this, we've been knocking these lessons out through the spirit and power of YAHWAH'S, and showing forth, the spirit of Christ in the Old Testament, and when you understand that he came in the volume of the book, you can't take away from what Christ did and what he set forth. You're actually dividing what the Most High put his son in the earth to do from the beginning, when you say, oh, I'm just gonna follow these 2 commandments that Christ gave in the New Testament with no understanding of what it's talking about. All right. But go ahead, King.
Verse 8, I delight to do thy will, O my God. Yea, thy law is in my heart. So like it is within my heart.
Right. Thy law is within my mind. You understand? Because we know if we meditate on these laws day and night, that's how we're gonna prosper. You understand? When we going precept upon precept, when we breaking out all of the books and getting this wisdom, that's how we're gonna prosper in the last days as a nation. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 9, I have preached righteousness in the great congregation.
Mm-hmm.
Lo, I have not refrained my lips, O Lord, thou knowest.
Mm-hmm.
I have not hid thy righteousness within my heart.
Right, and you see that right there. That's people. Right, when we go out here with this wisdom in the last days, right? It's almost like people want us to stop bringing the righteousness. They don't want to. They don't want us to expose the unrighteous deeds that's going on in the earth right now. They want to just keep partying, living it up, doing as thou wilt, spirit. You know what I'm saying? I got it all figured out, brother. I know the Lord, brother. You can't tell me about the Lord, right? Go ahead.
It says, I have not hid thy righteousness within my heart.
Right,
I
we
have
not hiding the Most High's righteousness. We going out on the highways and the byways. That's what's commanded of men to do in the last days, man. To bring forth the righteous generation, man. That righteous remnant. Go ahead.
I have declared thy faithfulness and thy salvation.
Mm-hmm.
I have not concealed thy loving kindness and thy truth from the great congregation.
That's right, man. And this is what you see. We not sealing up nothing, man. We not holding back. You know what I mean? The truth from the congregation of the Lord in the last days, man. We making it plain for the people to come in. We bidding people to the Most High's marriage. We saying, listen, you had it wrong from the beginning. You want to listen to truth? Hey, how about sit down and listen to an Israelite brother, or a sister, that have the wisdom to understand the commandments you must teach in the last days. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
Withhold not thou thy tender mercies from me, O Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Let thy loving kindness and thy truth continually preserve me.
That's right. And that's what every brother that go out on the highways and the byways is asking for in the last days. We asking to be preserved. We're going out with the truth in the last days so that the Most High can seal our homes. You understand? So that we can seal, our brothers next to us. If we got our brothers falling next to us, we gotta pick them up. If we got our sisters, our children falling, man, we gotta have that righteous community, you understand, to build each other up, man. We about to be in dark times, man. Right? We out here, we playing still. We playing, man. It's gonna be heavy judgment out here real soon if we don't bring these families together, man. I'm talking about as a nation, as a whole. It starts with that man and that woman, right?
God. Hey, Salaki King, I got some better some even more detailed rates on the divorce. Water to the brother I mock. Let me pull them up. This is divorce.com. This is 48 divorce statistics in the US, including divorce rate, race, and marriage length. It says the United States has the 6th highest divorce rate in the world, with 40 to 50% of married couples filing for divorce. It says obviously the rates are dropping, like we covered before. It says the more marriages you have, the higher the rate of divorce is going to become. This one is a real crazy one. It says black women divorce at a higher rate than women of any other race.
You hear that? That should be something. Listen, highlight that one more time right there for people to look at. That has to be a highlight, and that has to be something that sinks into the memory cap of every sister that is viewing this, right? Because that's what we must change. If they have that statistical rate for you to see, what you think they see? They see a destroyed people still. Well, who's doing it? Who's doing it? The same one that's going to the Planned Parenthoods. You understand? And destroying that seed, man. We gotta stop. Listen, take the gloves off. There's no biasness in what we do. Okay, let me just put that out there for record here. Okay. This right here, we go out on the highways and the byways every week and week in and week out, and we teach these scriptures to the nation of Israel as a whole, okay? And 9 times out of 10, we're dealing with men majority of the time, okay? Most brothers don't even like dealing with women, especially if they're married women, okay? You got to bring your husband forth for the camp, all right? You know, but we don't mind bringing forth the edification for the video's sake, you know, as well. You know, but you still got to bring your husband if you want any further service.
And look at that divorce. It says 69 out of divorce. Who divorces more? The women 69%. The men is only 31%. That is maddening.
You got to deal with that in the last days, right? Right. Hey, it looked like things are going back, you know, to a time where, you know, you know, if you go back to the early, you know, 50s, 60s, you know, those grandfathers was in them homes, and fathers was in them homes, you know. The man wasn't just leaving. You understand? You know, but you know, Satan, like he does everything, he came in the midst and split up that family, you know. That was his greatest work right there, was to divide that family. All right. So let's get Matthew's chapter 18.
Salakia.
Yep.
Hey, that's heavy. I'm in the car right now. Can y'all hear me?
Con.
Hey, that's heavy. You said that because you know, I don't know. Are you gonna go much? I know you got your lesson, so I don't want to step. Are you going into the curses on that divorce rate?
Go ahead, bring it out. I go ahead.
Hey, can somebody get me? Like I said, I'm in the road. Can somebody get me Deuteronomy 28 and 54, and then can somebody Ephraim, can you get me I think it's Psalm 17:13. I was meditating on this, and a lot of us you know, I'll be brief, but a lot of us came in, you know, with no fathers, right? So a lot of times you looking at, and we all know the curses of Deuteronomy from 15 on down is when we break the laws of God. So what the captain is going into is heavy, because this is one of the laws that I think is I mean, the curses that's rarely talked about. And ultimately, if a father's out in the house, then he can't teach his children, which is the law that must be kept. You got to teach your children when they go down, when they go to sleep, when they wake up, right? You teach them the Shemais, right? Deuteronomy 6 through like 7, it tells you to keep the Shemais and teach your children. If a father's not doing that because mommy and daddy not together, then no one's doing the Shemais with their children, right? And then the sons, they growing up. You see the domino effect. The sons are growing up without a masculine spirit. The kids are growing up. The girls are growing up out of order. You know, looking for attention from every man that they see. The young brothers don't know how to treat the woman, right? And then so forth and so forth. Then the streets raise them because, you know, mom could only do so much. And we all notice the old sayings, right? Where, you know, a village raise a child, but the village of our people today is wicked as hell. So they're going to raise the children, but what they going to instill in them at a young age, the morals that you grow up having, is going to be wicked as hell, which is why it's hard for us to teach our people the correct path. So who got that Deuteronomy 28?
You want
and
that
start at
first,
54? Con, let's get that first.
King?
And then I'm gonna hand it right back to the brother. And then Psalms, I think that's 17:13. So let's start with that one.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
Right. So if you understand the curses, you understand that our people are going to have to like the implosion of the family was a curse, right? And as y'all seeing those stats and those divorce rates, you know it's also talking about children as the casualty of war. And ultimately it goes back to how we choose our spouse in the first place. And then on top of that, right? It goes also into the remnant of the children, towards the woman, towards the wife, and towards your own brother, right? We just at war with everybody. And then but then ultimately, right, this goes back to the plan of the Most High God. And get that real quick. Psalms 17, I think that's what it is. Psalms 17 and 13.
17 and 13 says, "Arise, O Lord, disappoint him." Is that the one you want?
Con, that's it.
Okay, Con. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 17, verse 13. "Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword."
You see that? So the wicked is these other nations, but predominantly it's the house of Esau that, brought in the Planned Parenthood, that brought in the opportunity to divorce, that brought in the mentality of our women being empowered to lead a men by getting food stamps and getting all types of government assistance. As long as the man's not in the house, that sister's going to get access to her new husband, which is Esau. And ultimately, the Most High used Esau as his sword because that's the wicked, right? So the wicked, which is thy sword, is predominantly the house of Esau that implemented so many early unseen and unchecked ordinances and laws and statutes that it's destroyed our people from the beginning. And then it's the cycle. Our young men don't know how to be husbands. Neither do our young women grow up knowing how to be married, and they don't even want to get married now. But I'm gonna yield on that.
Nah, that's right. That's beautiful.
So can I bring this out too real quick?
Absolutely. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, that was powerful what the brother was going into. And I'm gonna bring the scripture out real quick. This Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 22. It says, "How long wilt thou go about, O backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man." Right? And when you go into it, when it says a new thing in the earth, because like Yahshua was going into back in the 40s and 50s, our men was in the household taking care of their household, right? You had the men in the household taking care of the women and the children. But now in today's world, those rates drop down tremendously, right? All set up by Esau's system, right? Because now you got most of our brothers in jail, right? Brothers killing each other, right? So you don't have the men in the household like it was back in those days, right? So it said a woman shall compass a man, just like Ron was going into. And in this world today, you got in Esau's system, our women get food stamps and government assistance, right? They get these high paying jobs, So now these women, they got money and they were like, well, I make 6 figures, so I don't need a man. Or I get food stamps, so I don't need a man, right? So that's just the mind state of our women today. And we see it all the time when we on the streets teaching. Right? Damn near every sister that walk past us when we out on the street teaching, ain't none of them, you could tell, ain't none of them women fit to be mothers. Right? Ain't none of them women fit to be wives. Right? You know how many of them women probably be out there on Glenwood Friday night, Saturday night. They probably got 3 kids. They didn't drop their kids off at their mama house and they out there damn getting drunk. They don't even take care of their kids. They got they mama watching their kids all the time. Right? You got grandma watching the kids, right? So that's the world that we live in today, where it said a woman would could pass a man. Right. Let me bring this out real quick. So
Salaki, real quick. You know why you grab that? You know what I'm saying? The black woman is the most educated, have the most degrees. You know what I'm saying? Out of everybody. And that they're this smart, but they can't figure out why black men are the way they are. You know what I'm saying? They don't listen.
Con, that's right. And like you got all these different podcasts and stuff like that on YouTube where you be having brothers, they be having certain podcasts and stuff, and women be on there, they be making a whole fool out themselves, man. Well, I don't need a man. Yeah, right. I don't need a man. I got OnlyFans. I make thousands and thousands of dollars a month on OnlyFans. What I need a man for, right? So that's just the wicked mind state of the modern day woman, right? But I'm gonna yield on that.
Con, all praises. Somebody grab Matthew chapter 18, verse 1. And everything the brothers brought out was mighty and right on point with the lesson within itself. And just with understanding of what you see, hey, we the most high seers in the last days, man. We see just about everything. We're up watching, when all the world is sleeping, we not sleeping like the world is. We watching things you ain't looking at, man. So we are observing the times in the last days, man. So we see the problem from the creation, to the time where our forefathers was ruling, and to our fall, and what made us fall, and what is gonna help us rise again as a nation. Thus saith the Lord. So that's what this is about, and if you are that vessel that's operating out of order, you got to come back to the original order, or you're gonna have to talk to the Most High about it. You're gonna have to give an account. Every idle word man shall speak. You're gonna give an account. So if you taking that authority in that seat that the Most High didn't give you, you understand you got to give an account for that, right? Let me get Matthew 18 and verse 1.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time came the disciples unto YAHAWAH'S, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?
Mm-hmm.
And YAHAWAH'S called a little child unto him and set him in the midst of them. Verse 3, and said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
All right, so stop right there real quick, right? Somebody let me get Psalms chapter 19 and verse 7, right? So it says, unless ye be converted and become as little children, right? What do we know as little children, right? What do little children do? We go back to the garden and we look at the many things that was going on in the garden. You raise up children. We take our children, we got to feed them. They have no understanding on the things that are right and wrong yet, totally pure and innocent. You got to correct them in measure. You got to show them the way that they shall walk, right? You have to show them the commandments and the laws of the Most High so that they don't go off and off course, right? So that's your duties as that representation in the last days. Read that scripture right there, Psalms 19, verse 7.
Khan, it's the book of Psalms. Go ahead, Ken. This the book of Psalms, chapter 19, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul.
Mm-hmm.
The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple.
The testimonies of the Lord is sure to make wise the simple, because hey, we got wise in that garden, okay? And we're gonna look at why we got wise in that garden. But we're gonna look at how we're gonna make simple, that wise to become real simple through the law, statutes, and the commandments of our Heavenly Father. We gotta reverse this whole thing. You see, Satan put the woman in a place where that woman knew she was never supposed to be. So that's what caused this thing to be upside down from the beginning, right? So it's befitting that men stand up and gird your loins up like men, right? Put on these commandments in the last days and start to, become as little children and learn again and get this understanding. But most importantly, you're going to find out that our women, like the brother was going into, very, very powerful point that he made, the brother Ahmad, our women are very bright. Our women are smart as hell. Our women are amongst, listen, like I said, there's no biases here. Our women are amongst the smartest people walking the earth, that black woman, right? That's why you think they came out with that movie, Hidden Figures, right? They showed you who was behind those hidden figures, right? Those false calculations, even though we know, right, Gladys Mae West put forth the GPS system and showed them how to put those satellites in them balloons up into that space to bring forth that satellite as well, right? Those women that helped develop many of the mathematical equations for NASA, right? Understand that our women are very, very intelligent. But you got to understand that they working with Esau. They're working with, Satan, that power and that spirit of Satan as well, to gain that wisdom that they was never supposed to have, that we was never supposed to have, right? All this wisdom, all this great wisdom. You understand? Right? We got knowledge. We got knowledge in the last days to do what? To become keyboard warriors and to become knowledge warriors, right? Where's the spirit at to come together? You got all that knowledge and all that wisdom, but you forgot that commandment to come together. Keep going on that Matthew, though, brother.
Khan, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 4.
Hey, shalom to all of the Akim and the Akwaf in the building. Shalom, shalom. All praises to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shah, Barakadah. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me.
Mm-hmm.
But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depths of the sea.
Right. So understand that, man. When you become as a little child, when you become converted, right? When you become to look at your own faults and weigh your own matters, when you look in that mirror, when you take time to meditate, when you look at the law, statutes, and commandments, because that's why we're supposed to meditate on them. They're supposed to show us and correct us of our own selves, right? So that's you becoming as a little child. That's you going back to that sincere milk, right? Understanding the true doctrine, understanding the keeping of the law, statutes, and commandments, right? And understanding, most importantly, the purpose of why you say you believe in who the world calls Jesus Christ in the last days, right? Who we know as the Hamashiach YAHAWAH'S. Go ahead. Jump to verse 14.
The book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 14. Even so, it is not the will of your Father which is in heaven that one of these little ones should perish.
Mm-hmm.
Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him
Right.
alone.
So we got time. We got plenty of time to make things right with one another. But you're gonna find out, hey, we too prideful, man. We too prideful to even go and even acknowledge what we did wrong, what our offense is. If you offended someone and someone sees something wrong in your walk and what you've done towards them, it is wise to acknowledge what they're saying you did wrong versus what you think you're doing right. And you find that's what many of our people's problem is that we refuse to acknowledge what somebody's even saying we did wrong. We so busy trying to be right every goddamn time. Right? Go ahead.
If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother.
Mm-hmm.
But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established.
Right, and we know that's how the Most High's word is established. That's why we go precept upon precept to get those establishments, right? We go back to the Old Testament to see what was established in the Old Testament. That way we can line it up with the New Testament and say, okay, there go that other witness right there, right? Go ahead.
Verse 17, and if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as a heathen man and a publican.
Right,
Verily,
because now if you take all of these accounts and line them up together, and your brother or sister is still refusing to humble themselves as a little child and accept you as that embodiment of the Hamashiach, you got to count them as a heathen. They have no understanding because they don't see the humility in which you came with, because you've acknowledged your fault. Go ahead.
verse 18, verily I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven.
Understand this right here. Everything, right? That marriage union, right? When you make a commitment to your brother or your sister within this earth, those things are bound in the heaven, right? You know, they got a saying out right now that's common in the the conscious world. They say as above, so below. Well, listen, right? That comes from the scriptures. You understand that? Everything that's bound in the heavens is bound in the earth. All right, as above, so below. Understand that, right? Go ahead.
And whatsoever ye shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven.
Right. So if you sowing wickedness and discord in the earth, right? The heavens is watching you, man. The heavens is documenting everything down, and the angels is bringing it before the mercy seat, man, and counting rather if you're going to be worthy on that day. You understand? So it's best you be wise, you see, to acknowledge your offense towards your brother. You understand that? You got to remove that spirit of Satan from you. That's attached to all of us from the garden. Go ahead.
Verse 19, and it reads, again I say unto you, that if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? YAHAWAH'S saith unto him, I say not unto thee until seven times, but until 70 times 7.
Right. So he wanted to know. He said, listen, if my brother go ahead and offend me, how many times, or my sister, right, my wife or my husband, how many times shall I forgive this Negro? Right? 7 times? Is that a completion, Lord? Nah, he said 70 times 7, man. Right? That's like infinity. You understand? Ain't nobody gonna offend nobody that many damn times now. Come on. Right? If somebody offended you that many times, you know they ain't no good. You see that? But the Lord even knew if he threw a drastic number out there, he still knew, even with that number, that our people would still have that wicked device of Satan within them, because we ready to walk away without that cause, without that first step, without going to your brother first, without going to your sister first, seeing if they hear you first, right? And then you bring your members of your church and say, you know what? I entrust in this brother and this brother with this knowledge, or this sister and this sister with this knowledge and information, so that we can bring clarity, so we can reconcile, you understand, as a unit. You know, you bring them to the church, you know, to see. Now we got you sitting before the bishops, the elders, right? The whole congregation now is weighing out the matter, you understand? And if you still can't figure it out, then, hey, listen, man, we got to just cast you off. You're a heathen man. You're a heathen woman. You understand? You like Esau. You got the spirit of Esau. You got the spirit of Satan. You got the spirit of the accuser. You understand? Go ahead. What verse you at?
I'm at verse 23.
All right. Let me get Revelations chapter 12. Sorry, verse 9.
I got it.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which
What was he called?
and Satan.
The devil and Satan. Can we look up those words? Let's go into it real quick. Let's go into that serpent. Right? You know what we do, man. We like to bring out words and go into them and figure these things out. See what, you know, see these characteristics, right? Let's go in here. Let's see this serpent, right?
And then snake, serpent with the ancients. The serpent was an emblem of cunning and wisdom. The serpent who deceived
Yeah,
Eve.
we can't see it. Yeah. Oh, is it up? We can't see it up there.
Oh, Salakia, my bad.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Snake, serpent with the ancients. The serpent was an emblem. Down here on the definition, a snake, figuratively, as a type of sly, cunning, and artful, malicious person, especially Satan.
Right. So you understand, this is a crafty cat right here, man. Wisdom, right? He had wisdom. So Satan wasn't no dummy. That spirit wasn't no dummy right there, right? So let's go over to devil. Let's look at that devil right there.
Strong's G 1228. Diabolos. Diabolos.
Prone to slander, slanderous, accusing falsely, false accuser, slanderer, a traducer, especially Satan, a false accuser, devil, slanderer.
Right. So you gotta ask yourself, man, are you a false accuser in the last days? Are you an accuser of the brethren? Right? Without cause? Are you accuser of the brethren without fixing it? Are you a slanderer in the last days? Right? Let's go over there to that word Satan. Let's see.
Strong's G 4567. Satanas. Satanas. Thayer's lexicon. Satan. Satan.
Adversary, one who opposes another in purpose or act. Let's see, of Chaldee origin, it's the accuser.
The accuser, right? So we see now we got a understanding on what the accuser is. Hey, do me a favor, right? Can you go into
Salakia, my bad. Look at this one right here. B. A Satan-like man.
So So now you understand, what when you call your brother Satan or you call a sister Satan, that you could be Satan too. Don't get offended.
Salakia.
Yeah.
In the so just real quick, even in the book of Psalms, Yahweh told us, who the crafty people was against us, to let you know, that's the Satan evil. He named them by names of the crafty people that took counsel against us.
That's right. You're talking about Psalms, the 83rd chapter, for the people that's wondering what the brother's talking about. Right? Right? So go back into that Revelations. So hold on real quick before we go into that. Can we pull up, just go to Google real quick. I just want to show what is the, just pull up a first image of an accuser, right? Let's pull up, just see what an accuser does, right? What's the attributes of an accuser?
Accuser.
We got, go to the images. I want to see an image. You see that right there? Click on look at that right there. You see that? Click that one with all those fingers. Look at what they're doing. Right? Look at that. All they doing is pointing that finger.
That one where they're behind her pointing at her, that's a better description, because they all come to stab you in the back.
Right. So that's the spirit of the accuser. One that will point the finger, not look at themselves and acknowledge what it is that they did in the matter, right? To even show forth some level of humility. You understand? Because we still got to have wisdom to acknowledge, hey, listen, the Hamashiach YAHAWAH'S walked this earth and he was right for everything that he did. But yet, he was humble enough to accept the wrong in the people, to say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. All right. He could have called the legion of angels down and stopped the whole account. Right? But that accuser, right? The elders, the chief priests, the Pharisees, right? All the brethren that put on that spirit of Satan in the last days, to be an accuser. Right? But go ahead, let's keep going into that.
I don't know what the hell he looking up for.
Right. Let's go. We're gonna go to verse 17 on that Revelation.
Con. Mm-hmm. Verse 17.
No. Where'd you stop at? Verse 10?
Con.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down.
Right. For the accuser of our brethren, right? That old serpent. Go ahead.
Which accused them before our God day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives until the death. Therefore rejoice.
Let me get Matthew chapter 16 and verse 21.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 21. From that time forth beget Jesus to show unto his disciples how that he must go unto Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and the chief priests and the scribes, and be killed and be raised up again the third day. on the 2022. Then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, "Be it far from thee, Lord."
Right. How you gonna take how you gonna take the heavenly son with all his wisdom and correct him? Right? Who he knew all these records from the beginning up until his present time. How you gonna correct him from the knowledge he trying to tell you something? He trying to put you on to what to get ready for. Right? Go ahead.
"This shall not be unto thee."
Mm-hmm.
23. But he turned and said unto Peter,
Mm-hmm.
"Get thee behind me, Satan."
He said, do what?
"Get thee behind me, Satan."
Right. He said, get thee behind me, Satan. You understand? So many of our people are operating in that spirit of Satan, right? But I want to let you know something right now. You understand? Because we and many of us are become the division and the accusers of the brethren. And that's why we ain't came together yet. Because we say we got an excuse for everything. Oh, my doctrine is different. Oh, I don't we don't see eye to eye, brother. We ain't gonna see eye to eye till Christ comes.
Oh, what about this one?
Yeah,
Hey,
go ahead.
you say shalom and I say shalom or
I
shalom.
say shalom. Shalom, brother. Yeah. We making memes about rather if we should say shalom or shalom or shalom. Hey, how about just peace, brother?
Hey,
can we just have peace?
Hey, Salaki, didn't they already go through that with tomato and tomato, potato, patata? Now they're talking with this.
Right. Can we just have peace amongst the brethren? Right? Because I'm going to tell you something, man. Understand this. For the Hamashiach YAHAWAH'S to know, right, that Peter was going to deny him, to know that Judas was going to be the son of perdition. You understand? For him to know this already and choose them to walk amongst him. He didn't say, nah, you ain't worthy to walk amongst me. Hey, you didn't say shalom right. It's shalom, brother. You understand? Hey, you ain't got the same doctrine I got. But you know what? He showed forth those men to walk amongst him, and he didn't cast them off, even though they was walking with a whole nother intent that they didn't even know that was within them from the beginning of the garden, that accuser. Right? They didn't even know they had the spirit of Satan on them. But he had to show them. He had to correct them in measure. And how many of us are going to be corrected in measure? You understand? When we're walking in these dark days, hey, listen, if we don't come together and acknowledge the importance of coming together, that Zephaniah 2:1 spirit, you understand, must be fulfilled in this earth. And all you're seeing is division. Doctrine.
Hey, Salakia.
Go ahead.
Hey, I got a preset right quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Can't bring it up.
Yeah. This is 1 second. I'm looking for it. This is First Peter, chapter 1, verse 20, and it says, knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scripture is of any private interpretation. And I know we went back earlier. We were going into that Psalms 40, where it was talking about the not hiding the righteousness. And we went into that Matthews 18, where it was going into correction and correcting your brother, or dealing with your brother if you guys have a contention amongst yourself. So I feel like one of the spirits in the lesson is going into how to deal with your brother, and to not have contention amongst one another, to deal with each other in righteousness, and not try to hide the knowledge and the righteousness and the wisdom. The Matthew 18 was going into, if you have issues with somebody, deal with witnesses, take it forth to the church. And I also want to read this Mark chapter 4, verse 22. it says, "For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested, neither was anything kept in secret, but that it should come aboard." So basically, all I'm trying to say is dealing in righteousness with Israel. We don't need to be slick and sly with one another, just being straightforward, not talking behind each other's back. And all this stuff is like for public gain, for the knowledge and edification of Israel, not to try to be sneaky and slick and try to backbite and tail bear behind each other's back. That's all I was getting to. I yield.
Con. All praise to the Most High. That's right. That's right. We must be wise of our tongue. Especially if you're speaking slanderous about a brother and you ain't cleared that matter up. Even for that brother to make sense of what his issue was with you to begin with, or that sister, right? Where we at?
You still want me to read Matthew with the account with Peter? Or are we moving on?
Yeah, let me get the book of Job, chapter 1. All right, let's get it.
Job what?
Job 1, and let me get verse 5.
This is Job chapter 1, verse 12.
Verse 5, brother.
No, slacky. Verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so, when the day of the feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them,
mm-hmm.
and rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Jacob said, "It may be that my son have sinned and cursed God in their hearts." Thus did Jacob continuous. Verse 6. Now there was a day when the Son of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them.
Right. So here we go. Here we go with that same that account from the book of Revelations, right? That accuser of the brethren. It said he says we got the accuser of the brethren who accuses them day and night before the Most High, right? That wicked spirit from the beginning that would try to find something wrong because he wanted to elevate himself above the Most High's creation. Anything the Most High was creating, that spirit had a problem with it. Go ahead.
7. And the Lord said unto Satan, "Whence comest thou?" And Satan answered the Lord and said,
right,
"From going to and fro into the earth."
Right. So he said, "Whence comest thou, Satan? Where you coming from? Where was you rolling to?" Right. And he said, "From coming to and fro within the earth, and doing all what I wanted to do within it, causing all manner of confusion all in the earth." Lord, go ahead.
And from walking up and down in it. Verse 8. And the Lord said unto Satan, "Hast thou considered my servant Job?
Right.
And there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and a upright man."
Right. See, people don't need. We skip over that portion of the letter. We say, "Nah, ain't nobody perfect." Right. But here's the Most High acknowledging. You understand that Job was a perfect man in his time, and he was upright with what he was doing. You understand? Job had a special spirit upon him. Right. Go ahead.
One that feared God.
And
enshewed evil.
Right. So he put off all manner of evil from off him. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Then Satan answered the Lord and said, "Doth Job fear God for naught?"
Right. Do he fear you for nothing? Right. This is what he wanted to know. What you mean he's doing all of these great works? He fearing you for nothing. Watch what I put this guy through. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 10. Has not thou made an hedge about him and about his house
Right.
and about all that he have on every side?
Right, because you're gonna find out that that was that same hedge that was upon Adam from the creation. Right, Adam was blessed, and we're gonna read about it. And he was given dominion over all the creation in the earth. Go ahead.
Thou have blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. 11. But put forth thine own hand, Slakia, but put forth thy hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face.
Right, so he's telling, he's like, listen, I'm gonna make sure now that if you take away all his goods, right, which you see what our people, you understand, when we start to have things stripped away from us and taken away from us, that's the only time we begin to try to either acknowledge the Most High or we go to start to curse the Most High. You understand? We start to talk bad about the Most High and what he did because we don't understand judgments, right? We want all of the good things, but we don't want those curses. We got to accept the commandments, the laws, right? The blessings and those judgments and curses that come from breaking those laws, statutes, and commandments. We have to accept all of it. All right.
Verse 12. And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, all that he have is in thy power. Only upon himself put not forth thine hand.
Right. So he didn't give him power to touch Job at this time. He said, nah, you just touch everything else, but leave my servant Job alone right now. Okay, go ahead.
So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. Verse 13. And there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine.
So stop right there. Go to verse 18 and read verse 19. Right. So there was a day where they was eating and they was drinking. They was having a good time, right?
Verse 18. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. Verse 19. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and smote the four corners of the house. And it fell upon the young men. And they
what does that sound like right there when you read that, right? It says, so they was in the house and they was eating and they was drinking. Don't that sound like Noah's story? Won't they during Noah's time, won't they eating and drinking until the flood came? Wasn't they giving into marriage? Right? They was doing all manner of things and totally not acknowledging the times at hand. You see that? So that's how many of our people are right now. Right? What's that? Matthew 24 and 32, I think, or 37, where he says that as in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the Son of Man, right? For they was eating and drinking in those days as well. Right? So all of these things that Noah had and that Moses had, right? And that our brother Job had right here, right? But let's look at these rulers. Let's go to Matthew 19 real quick, 19 and 16. Right? Let's look at this ruler right here. Let's look at what happened with this ruler here. Because Job had it all, right? Job had all of what he can have, right? And one of the things that Satan told the Lord was that, listen, if you take away all what he have, he gonna curse you, man. He gonna do away with you, Lord, right? But go ahead and read that. Matthew's 19 and verse 16.
Just the book of Matthew, chapter 19, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, one came and said unto him, Good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life?
Mm-hmm.
And he said unto him, Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one,
Mm-hmm.
that is God.
Right. Why is he telling him this? Why is he telling him, here it is, this is the Messiah. Everybody say Messiah good, right? But why he's saying, listen, don't call me good. There's one good, God, right? The Most High, the power, the Father. He's saying, don't give that title to me because you don't know who you're dealing with, right? I come down here to make war. You understand? He said, I came peaceably to the people, but I'm also coming with the sword for the people. You understand? And that's the spirit of which we've been going into in the last few lessons, right? The mighty captain, Ra'am, went into a powerful lesson about the dark side of YAHAWAH'S. Check it out. You understand? And you get to understand that peaceable servant that came is coming with a sword, right? Go ahead.
But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments.
Right. Keep the commandments. Go ahead.
Verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
He saith unto him, which Jesus said, Thou shalt do no murder, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness. Honor thy father and thy mother, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. The young man saith unto him, All these things I have kept from my youth up.
Right. He said, look, I'm a rich ruler, right? I've been keeping all these commandments. It's been kind of easy for me to do this thing, Lord, right? Go ahead.
What lack I yet?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus said unto him, If thou wilt be perfect and go and sell that thou hast and give to the poor, thou shalt have.
There you go. That's another clean cut right there. He said, listen, acknowledging if you perfect, he didn't say, nigga, you ain't perfect. He said, look, all right, if you perfect, you're a rich man, take all your goods and go and sell it to the poor. Get rid of all your high things that make you so great. And pull yourself down to those poor men level. You see that? So now your brother's on the same level as you. Right? But let's see what this rich man said, right? He didn't have the spirit of Job. Go ahead.
And thou shalt have treasure in heaven, and come and follow me.
Mm-hmm.
But when the young man heard that saying, he went away sorrowful, for he had great possessions.
He said, whoa, I ain't getting rid of this Maserati.
Right.
I ain't getting rid of this Rollie. I ain't about to give away my possessions to come walk with you. No. See, Job was different. Job understood, you understand, that there was a greater service, you understand, and those riches meant nothing compared to what he was going to gain, you understand, by serving the Most High. Right? Let me get the book of Luke, chapter 10 and verse 25 through 26. Let me see. Let me pick mine up here.
You mean to drop the Job?
No, stay there, Job.
Okay, kind of.
Just the book of Luke, chapter 10, verse 25. And behold, a certain lawyer stood up and tempted him, saying, Master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? And he said unto him, What is written in the law? How readest thou? And he answering said, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy strength, and with all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself. Verse 28, and he said unto him, Thou hast answered right. This do, and thou shalt live.
Right. So stop right there. You understand? So we understand that by us doing these commandments, is how we're going to gain that eternal life, right? To come back to the order of servicing our nation, to servicing our creator, right? To servicing the man, woman, and child that's next to us. You understand that we have to build up in these last days, right? So go ahead, go back to that to the Job.
You gonna start back from the top or where I left off?
Where you left off at, King?
And they are dead. And
from the top of that last verse you read.
Okay, this is Job chapter 1, verse 19.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and smote the four corners of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And it fell upon the young men, and they are dead.
Right. So hold that right there. Now let's go to Job. Flip over where you at, Mark, and let's go to Job chapter 2, and let's start at verse 1.
The book of Job, chapter 2 and 1. Again, there was a day when the Son of God came to present themselves before the Lord. And Satan also came among them to present himself before the Lord. Verse 2. And the Lord said unto Satan, from whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth and walking up and down in it. 3. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job?
So he's going through the same thing again with him, right? Go ahead.
That there is none like him in the earth, and perfect and upright man. And an upright man.
Right.
One that feareth God and he shewed evil, and still he holdeth fast his integrity.
Right, and still he holdeth fast his integrity, right? Hey, go click on that word fast real quick.
Strong's H2388. Chazak.
Right. So just go down to some of these definitions, right? I can't
Oh, it says to fasten upon, hence to seize, to be strong.
To be strong, right? So Job was strong in the spirit. You understand? Go ahead.
Courageous, to strengthen, to help, to repair, to fortify, to restrain, conquer, to catch, confirm. It means so many different things.
Right.
Encourage, courage or courageous. To fasten, to fortify, to make hard, harden,
to prevail.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You see that right there? So Job had this spirit right here. This is a mighty spirit, man. You understand? Go ahead.
Okay. Although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause.
He said, look, to destroy him without cause. He ain't did nothing wrong. Who else walked the earth ain't did nothing wrong? Go ahead.
Somebody got to hit mute. And 4. And Satan answered the Lord and said, skin for skin. Yea, all that a man have will he give for his life.
Now he's saying, look, now go ahead and touch on him. Go ahead and see if these afflictions, will he turn his back. Go ahead.
5. But put forth thine hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face. 6. And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, he is in thy hand, but save his life.
He said, but save his life, right? He's in thy hand, but save his life. Do all the things you want to do to him, but don't kill him, right? Go ahead.
7. So when Satan put forth the presence of the Lord and smote Job with sore boils,
right,
from the sole of his feet unto his crown. Verse 8. And he took him and postured him.
Postured.
I thought I said that. Postured.
Yeah.
To scrape himself withal. And he sat down among the ashes. Verse 9. Then his wife, Slakia, then said his wife unto him.
Then said his wife unto him. So Job going through all these things, right? He done got boils put on him. Job's sick right now, man. You understand? And the one thing he should have is that wisdom from his wife, a wise woman, right? Go ahead. What she say to him?
Doest thou still retain thy integrity?
Right. You gonna still serve? You gonna still uphold these righteous acts? You know, for this God after he did all this to you? Go ahead.
Curse God and die.
Yeah, he said, go ahead and blame God for everything. You understand? It just died. Don't even worry about your life no more. You worthless. Just go ahead and die. You ain't no more worth. You have no more worth to me. You lost everything. You understand? You're not the man no more, Job. Right?
Hey, that sound like typical women these days sound.
They go hand in hand, man. You know what I'm saying? They say, listen, man, you ain't got the bag no more, Job.
You ain't got the juice no more.
You ain't got the juice, man. You lost the juice, Job. Go ahead.
Verse 10. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh what? Shall we?
You speaking like a foolish woman speak, meaning a stupid woman when you go into it, right? Go ahead.
Or like a modern woman. Slack it, my bad. Shall we receive?
Listen, not those that have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of these commandments and laws in the last days, and the women that are operating in unity under the Father, the Son, and that righteous leader that you have in that home. All praise to the Most High.
God. Shall we receive good at the hand of God? And shall we not receive evil?
Right. You see that Job understood the wisdom from on high. He said, listen, I know if I receive the blessings from the Creator, I should also receive some evil as well to prove my worth to that Creator that blessed me. He could take away whatever he gives you at any given time, even your health, even your life. You understand that? Do you got faith that he can return that life back to you if you're on that deathbed? Go ahead.
In all this, did not Job sin with his lips? Verse 11.
No, that's it. And Job didn't sin with his lips, right? So go back to the first chapter real quick, Mac, and read 21 and 22.
Verse 21. And said, naked came out of my mother's womb. Slack it. We'll start on verse 21. And said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return.
Right. He said, listen, I came out with nothing. I'm ready to go back with nothing. You understand? All I need is the Most High. Right? Go ahead.
Hither, The Lord gave, and the Lord taketh away.
Right. The Lord blessed me. He could take away whatever he blessed me with at any given time. And you know what? I'm going to still serve him. Go ahead.
Blessed be the name of Yahweh.
Right.
Verse 22. And all this, Job sinned not, nor changed, nor charged God foolishly.
Right. So Job didn't charge the Most High foolishly, right? Like the foolish woman wanted him to do. Job maintained his integrity for the Heavenly Father, right? And the Heavenly Son through the Spirit. And he understood that suffering servant spirit, you understand, to have all of the riches of the world, to walk in righteousness, to do no wrong to no one, to have total blessings from the Most High, and to also have the Most High chastise you in order to make examples for us today. All right.
Salakia, and he still didn't divorce her.
And he still didn't divorce her, right?
That's
he corrected her in measure, though. You understand? He gave her that righteous tongue lashing that many of our women can't stand today. You tell a woman, look, you foolish as hell right now. You tell your wife that, she gonna look at you like, nigga, is you crazy? Who you talking to?
Salakia, Job had that perfect spirit, man.
You said he had what, King?
I said, just like the Most High called him perfect, you can see why the Most High called him perfect.
Right.
He was carrying himself like that. He was upright.
That's right. That's right. You know, the book of Job is a powerful book. I suggest everybody read it if you haven't read it in totality, so you can understand, you know, just how, you know, Job walked for a period of time, you know what I'm saying? And what he went through, and the sight of his friends and family members and things of that nature. But go ahead.
No, I was just saying he went through some things. You think we have it hard?
Right.
Job went through some things.
That's right. That's right. And that's a testament to your faith, right? Go ahead, Cap. You got something?
Yeah, Khan. I was gonna say that's heavy because and this is a beautiful lesson, even going through Job. And like you said, you know, if you haven't, you know, I'm gonna second that. I'm gonna land me back off the brother. I highly recommend you go through the book of Job and read it in its totality. It's a lot of good stuff on there on how people should act, brothers and sisters. But you know, one thing about being in this truth, we always teach this on the streets, is you become a better overall man. When you read the Bible, when you go into the law, statutes, and commandments, when you know how to conduct yourself and behave as an authoritative figure, because when you look at Job, even in that time period where, you know, the narrative is, you know, women just had to just shut up and make babies, you know, and the man could do whatever he whenever he wanted. If you've seen how a righteous brother behaved himself during a time where he frustrated at this point. The brother got boils on his skin. I mean, you know, Jake, man. Jake ain't got no problem laying the smack down on the left hand side, especially when he's frustrated. He hungry, he broke, he got boils, he's sick, he got, you know, all this frustration, pent up energy, pent up anger, and it wasn't no court system out there where, you know, you can call 911 and say he hit me in them days. You know what I'm saying? It was that man's authority, and that brother still had the reserve and the fortitude to just, you know, just go back and go back to the basics, which is the law. And that just shows a brother, right, coming in this truth. No matter how bad things can get, always maintain your spiritual dignity, always maintain your spiritual integrity, and it be counted for righteousness later. I just want to bring that out because that's heavy when you really like just listening to this lesson and what he going through and what his rib said and that climate back then. Hey man, you know how many brothers would have went upside his wife, you know, head and smacked the hell out of her, but he didn't. You know, that brother was a righteous man.
Salakia, Captain, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
Which in the spirit of Joe, you know what I'm saying? And brothers are striving to be like Yahweh shot. We gotta strive to even make it to the Joe before we can strive to make it to how Yahweh shot was. And in saying that, most of us today, and I'm speaking broadly, wouldn't make it through chapter 1 without cursing Yahweh. That right there is why even when you're in the camp and stuff like that, they teach you through the bad and the good. Thank Yahweh always. If you're walking, you kick your toe and it hurts or bleeding, say the water Yahweh. If you drive down the road and your tire pop, you say the water Yahweh. You bless him, you thank him in everything.
Hey, I'm just listening to you in the spirit because how many of us do that, right? When we go through chastisement, even when it says gold is tried in the fire and acceptable men, right, to the Most High, and roughly paraphrasing that. So even when we go into that, I might brought up some good points. When we go through anything, your tire being popped, whatever you're going through, bad news at school, at work, whatever you're dealing with, your bank account, they took out overdraft fund, you know how it go, right? And how many of us thank the Most High? You know what I'm saying? Even when you go in the book of Hebrews, it talks about if you get chastened, prepare thy soul for chastisement, right? And I mean not Hebrews, Sirach, but even in Hebrews, right? It talks about I think that's like Hebrews 12 or Hebrews 14, I think, where it talks about the children of the Most High, right, are being tried, and the ones that are not are bastards, right? So when you go through something, right, you're not a bastard. The Most High is actually trying your spirit to see what you're gonna do. That's a powerful point you brought out, and how many people actually do that, right? Your first instant or your first response should be, hey, thank the Most High, I'm gonna get through this. I still got my health, you know what I'm saying? I still got my life. I ain't got no boils on my skin, right? I'm not scraping boils off with a rock. You know what I'm saying? The stuff that our brother went through, we not going through half of that. And we still, got the long face when something bad happened.
It's 12 Hebrews 12 and 8.
There you go, Hebrews 12 and 8. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, just bring that last part out. I just wanted to bring that out through the spirit, man. That's beautiful.
This is Hebrews chapter 12, verse 8. But if ye be without chastisement, wherefore all are partakers, there are ye bastards and not sons.
You see that? So what the brothers is going through tonight? Hey, if you're at home and you just kind of just listening as background noise and you're not taking notes, or you're just kind of tuning in and out, but you're doing something, I highly recommend you to stop, take notes, because brothers is putting in a lot of effort, late nights, early mornings, coming up with these breakdowns for our people. So at the end of the day, just try to take notes and apply them to your life. It should never be you should never have a point where you're saying, I don't know what to study, I don't know what to read. We going through some good stuff here. I'm gonna yield right there, but I'm gonna let you have it, Shuv. Salaki on that rant.
No, that's beautiful. That's beautiful, King. Anytime, you want any brothers want to bring it out, man, and shed light to the message, it's all about the edification of the nation, and that's right. We gotta take the chastening of the Lord, joyfully. You understand, and know that it's gonna make us better men. It's gonna make us better women. And solely just being in that righteous order within itself. The men being under Yahweh Shai. The women, acknowledging that spirit of the daughters of Sarah, to acknowledge that king as Lord in your home, not to push that man to the side and say, well, you know what? I'm going right to the throne. You understand? I'm going to sit next to Yahweh Shai's feet. You understand? I'm gonna wash it. I'm gonna wash his feet with my hair. You ain't even washed your husband's feet. You know what I'm saying?
Precept to that, brother.
you ready to wash the Lord's feet with your hair, you know, and mimic scripture, but you don't even want to do that, you know, for your own Lord in your house, you know. Take your man's shoes off when he come in from work from a long day, man, and bless that brother. You know, that's that's honoring him as the Lord, right? We're gonna go into it, man.
Precept.
Go ahead, King.
And this right here is why the women in our community, and you know what I'm saying, the women of Israel, both northern and southern kingdom, are cursed the way they are. This is 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some covet after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. You know what I'm saying? The women always want, you know what I'm saying, the 6-figure guy, the 6'5", you know what I'm saying, stuff, you know what I'm saying, with all this high money. You can't chase money. That you should not you need to determine your man by these laws, not by his pocketbook. I yield up.
Hey, Salakia.
Praise.
Hey, Salakia, just a quick comment right quick. Just going through that chapter 1 and chapter 2 of Job, you see where people came up with that saying, the patience of Job. You got to have the patience of Job. The brother was mighty when it comes to the patience. I yield.
That's right. That's right. A long-suffering spirit.
Hey, we got the brother Chris in the house. Brother Chris, what's going on, man?
Shalom,
hey,
shalom.
when you gonna come visit us on a Friday or Saturday? We waiting for you, brother. Shalom.
Shalom. All praise to the Most High, man. All right, so let's jump back into it. All right, I ain't gonna be before you much too long. This will be a part 2, by the way. Through the power and spirit of YAHAWAH'S, we're gonna keep on going in because this is an important topic for the nation as we're going into the days of gross darkness, right? If we don't band together in unity, right, starting with that man and that woman, you understand, to fortify the union of even the children to even come into the congregation, you know, to make the nation stronger. You understand? Even those with numbers and things of that nature, you know, hey, we got to build together. That's the righteous army right there for the Lord. You understand? And that's why we mark this camp, you know, as that Joel chapter 2, verse 11. You understand? Well, let me get the book of Genesis chapter 2 and verse 6. Anybody?
Just the book of Genesis chapter 2, verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the garden. And Yahweh God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
Mm-hmm.
And man became a living soul.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahweh God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Verse 9. And out of the ground made Yahweh God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
All right, so stop right there, right, and go to verse 17. So he said, he formed man from the dust of the ground. So we going back to the creation for those, you know, are very familiar with the scriptures. You know, I hope everybody listening in, you know, understands the Bible through and through. So you know the creation story. You know, we won't dive too much deeper into anything past what we can see here with Adam in this creation story to acknowledge what is going on here. But we acknowledge the acts of what this represents for a start, for a righteous being within this earth, right? So Adam, who was first formed, being that first life form within this earth, was given dominion and power over this earth, right? As he was created to be immortal, right? Let me get verse 17.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die.
All right, stop right there. So he's giving them wisdom. He gave them a commandment, right? He said that tree over there, you know, it looked good from afar, right? It probably looked different than all of the other trees in the garden, you know, so it was easy to identify with. But the Most High gave a strict commandment to Adam, straight forward, said, listen, don't go over there, don't mess with it, you know, don't play with it, don't acknowledge it. It's there. I got a hedge of protection about you right now, Adam. And Adam was totally under the subjection of the Most High's order. You understand? Go ahead. Verse 20. Let me get verse 20 to 25.
Verse 20. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam, there was not found a helpmeet for him.
Right. So stop right there now. So Adam had all this power, rulership, dominion. He's naming all of the cattle and things that the Most High created. He's giving them names, but he ain't had no help. Hey, that's all. Hey, listen, ladies. Hello. That's all some men need is just a little help. Just that little help from you to get right. That pillar of rest, not a pillar of stress. That tower of life.
Bars.
You know, you got to be a tower of life to your husband.
That's right.
You know. Go ahead.
You want 25, King?
No, just keep on going from where you was at.
Verse 21. And Yahweh God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which Yahweh God had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man.
And he did what?
And brought her unto the man.
Now, what that sound like right there, right? Don't that sound like what we do as, or what they showed us and how we orchestrate marriage unions? Ain't that father supposed to give his daughter to that husband and give her off? So that's what the Most High is doing right here. The Most High is bringing forth his daughter. He's presenting the daughter to Adam right now. He's saying, listen, I give you this day, this woman, okay? Take her as your what? Go ahead.
And Adam said, this is now blood of Salakia. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. And she shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Verse 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
And they shall be what?
And they shall be one flesh.
Having one understanding, having that knowledge and wisdom that, listen, what the Most High put forth within the earth ain't no wrong within it. If he gave you a leader, a righteous head, a protector, a strong head, that man's going to die for you if he loved you truly. You understand that? Any man within this earth that will give himself to a woman in unison of marriage, he's going to die for that woman. You understand that? I know any of these brothers will. You better believe it, right? If somebody come through that door ready to go down, man, that man gonna step up. If he a true man of Yahawah, right? And that's what our women should glory in the last days. Do you have a righteous head that would die for you, ultimately protect you, provide for you, care for you, right? Be that one to give you wisdom from the Most High, like Adam did. Adam was showing Eve everything. These are animals over here. He's naming them. He's breaking them down. He's saying, listen, I need you to help me over here. I'm trying to put some little gardening over here. Adam breaking down many things to show forth his wife what the Most High showed him before she came into existence, right? But real quick, can we go over Ephraim, if you could pull up Ecclesiasticus chapter 7 real quick. Let me see.
I'm ready there.
Chapter 7. What do I want here? Let me see. Hold on a second. Start at verse 23, King.
Con. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 7, verse 21.
23, brother.
23, Slakia. Hast thou children? Instruct them, and bow down their neck from their youth. 24. Hast thou daughters? Have a care of their body, and show not thyself cheerful toward them.
That's right, man. Because listen, you got many fathers, man, be tripping when it comes to how they handle their daughters out here. That's why these daughters are out of control, and that's why it's wisdom for women. If you brought forth another woman to be one day out your, you better not take that man out that home, right? That young girl gonna fear that father, and she won't go off. Long as that man in that dwelling, as long as he in order, as long as he leading correctly, he's gonna put that daughter in check. He gonna make sure his daughter ain't turning up out here. You understand? Trying to be the next Cardi B. So he got a care of her body. You understand? And he ain't gonna always play around with her neither. You see that? Because he know what's out here in the world. Verse 25.
Okay, Con. And Slaki, isn't it also in Ecclesiastes when he was talking about the fathers will be like the mothers? You know what I'm talking about?
I didn't hear you. What you said?
Slaki. I said, isn't it also in Sirach? That's how the fathers, how the daughters will be like the mothers?
Right, Con, absolutely. You understand?
All right, verse 25.
Go ahead, Yashwan.
No, I think you talking about Ezekiel.
Ezekiel. Slaki, my bad.
Kanye, I could bring that out after that if you want.
Yeah, Con, that's cool. Matter of fact, bring it out now.
Okay, Con.
Yashwan, go ahead.
Con. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 16, verse 44. It says, behold, everyone that uses proverb shall use this proverb against thee, saying, as is the mother, so is her daughter.
That's right. And you gotta understand that if you out here and you turning tricks and you get into the bag and you all you know how to do is twerk in the last days and show forth your assets, you raising daughters to do the same thing. You raising daughters to be careless of their bodies. So that's what our women, that's what we have to correct with our women, with that modest apparel in many different things, you understand? when you go into the commandments that the women is supposed to uphold for the young women, right? Which we're going to go into on the second part of this class, right? Is those instructions that women are supposed to set forth, you know, to the younger women of the generation. But go ahead, verse 25.
Marry thy daughters, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter.
Mm-hmm.
But give her to a man of understanding.
But give her to what?
A man of understanding.
So now you got to give her away to a man of understanding, and that's what the Most High did right there. He gave the understanding to Adam. Adam knew not to go mess with nothing he wasn't supposed to, right? Because he was under the authority. He said, no, listen, I'm gonna break this down to you. I'm gonna give you the understanding that I received. You see that? And that's what we do. You know what I mean? We're not using the Lord's words as weapons, you know, in the home, you know, but what you go to find out, man, is that our women are studying the precepts. They're going into the scriptures. You got the women in the house, they pulling out swords and daggers. They like, yeah, I just cut you with this scripture right here. Who's giving forth the understanding? Is it in righteousness? Even if you got a lame husband, right? That unbelieving spouse, you're supposed to still show humility and give wisdom. That's the husband you chose, right? So you're supposed to honor him, not look at the next man that got all the wisdom, knowledge. You breaking it down. Now you're the woman at the front of the church trying to get with the pastor. You understand? You got to be a woman of understanding, right? And have this type of wisdom. Stay right there. Jump up to verse 19, I believe. Let me see.
Forgo not a wise and good woman.
Uh-huh.
All right, Sirach chapter 19. It's like chapter 17, verse 19. Mm-hmm. Forgo not a wise and good woman,
mm-hmm.
for her grace is above gold.
Right. You know what I mean? Her grace is above gold. She's going to have that mercy. Our women don't have no grace these days, man. Our women ready to cast you off as quick as you come. In fact, right, you can look up. There's a horrible story that just took place right here in Ghana, right, where this brother proposed to this woman. And 2 days after the proposal, man, she shot this brother dead.
Damn.
No grace, right? Somebody somewhere probably thought she was a wise and good woman. You see that? So we can't be foolish and ignorant, you know, and be hasty to credit people in the last days, man. We gotta thoroughly prove, you know, all these situations and things that's going on while we have liberty, right?
Hey, so
but let's go back. Yeah, go ahead, King.
I was gonna pull a preset if we got the time. I was gonna go into Genesis chapter 18, verse 12.
Okay.
And I ain't pulling nothing that you already got in the stash, Dilma.
Go ahead, brother.
This is the book of Genesis chapter 18, verse 12. And it says, therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, after I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also. So I'm just going into the fact that we're talking about the respect a woman can have for her husband. Our foremothers was calling our forefathers Lord. That's a very respectful, honored thing to be, you know, honoring your husband in the household like that. I yield.
Hey, so like I got that's a spirit because I had a precept that go right along with that too. This First Peter chapter 3 verse 5, and this go right along with you just brought out. It says, for after this manner in the old time, the holy woman also who trusted in God adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands, even as Sarah, like you just read in Genesis, obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are. Right? So our woman's supposed to be the daughters of Sarah, right? They're supposed to have the same attributes and the same spirit that Sarah had, right? So the scripture said that Sarah, she had the attributes as a holy woman, right? So if you're not following after the same ways of Sarah and the rest of our foremothers, then are you really a righteous and a holy sister? Right? Verse verse 6. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well and are not afraid with any amazement. Verse 7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. And that was it on that.
It's like I got a precept. This is Proverbs chapter 9, verse 13. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing.
That's right, and that's going back into the understanding of these particular women that wouldn't have that wisdom of Sarah, right? That would not be that wise woman that would have grace and mercy to even understand, what the rightful order is to be in that order to begin with. Most of our women don't even want to be in that order, right? So they speak of the foolish woman, right? But let's go back to that Genesis.
All right, so
We're gonna start winding them down, right? 20. Where we at? 22.
I think we made it down to I'll start at 22. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 22. And the rib which Yahweh had taken from man made he a woman and brought her unto Adam. Salakia brought her unto the man. 23. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man.
Right. So now Adam, the same way he was naming the beast of the field, right? Now he's naming his possession. That's why the Lord said when you get a wife, you get a possession. You understand? So now he's putting that name on his wife. He's saying, listen, I'm naming you woman because you come from me. You understand? You're an extension of me, just like every one of our tree in our home, our family, our wife, our children, they're extensions of us. So when they walk out our house, they doing what? Representing who? Representing us. You see that?
Salaki, and that's why when you get married to a woman, she usually take your last name, and then all your children and your whole family had a man's last name.
That's right. That's right. But go ahead.
Verse 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Verse 25. And they were both naked, and the man and his wife were not ashamed.
Right. They weren't ashamed. Why weren't they ashamed? Because they were still dwelling like babies. they didn't have the knowledge to know that they was, you understand? If you take a baby that's 5 years old and you've been training them to walk around the house without clothes on, they don't have that knowledge to know that they naked until they see somebody with clothes on. Just like they don't know that stove is hot until you correct them and measure and tell them, listen, that fire gonna come up there. Don't put your hand up there. You're gonna burn yourself, until they actually do it. See, that's that knowledge of good and evil, right? But let's go to Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1. Start at verse 1.
This is the book of Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh God had made.
Right. So now we're going back into that. We just read up there in the book of Revelations how one of the attributes of Satan was that he was a wise one, right? Had wisdom, right? Go ahead.
And he said unto the woman, ye have God said.
Hey, stop right there, though. Stop. Hold on. Stop right there. What do he? This man is not only the accuser, the slanderer, right? He's also a coward. He went to the weaker vessel. He went to the men. Hey, the men of the Lord, we don't run to the women on the street. We try to correct men first. You understand that? We're not going to the women and say, hey, we trying to build up warriors in the last days, men that could take up that helm to go out here on the highways and the byways and continue the works, man, until this place is falling.
Hey, he would have got his ass stomped out.
Right, quick. You see that? How many of you brothers would have let that slithering serpent creep up in your lady's ear, whispering and tricking her? Nah, man, you ain't gonna do it. But hey, brother, can you play that video?
Which one you want?
The one with those spirits.
The second one or the third one?
Nah, the one with the spirits, brother. The mind of the spirits. You know what I'm talking about?
Con. Let me get it. Give me 1 second.
Hey, Salakia, if I could just, while he's pulling it up, that Genesis 2:24, if you notice, that's in the scriptures multiple times where it says a man shall leave his mother and father and cleave to a woman. It feel like the Most High is letting you know this is the natural order of things. He's not cleaving to another man. He's not, doing anything else. This is the natural order of man, woman, and marriage. I yield.
That's right.
Oh God, what the hell?
You got it, brother?
Yeah, I'm trying. What the hell? Ain't nobody want no damn. What the hell? I hate when they just start. Like, I didn't ask you to play. Let's see.
Con. While he getting that, let's just keep going.
Con, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. Verse 2, and the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden.
Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead and play that.
How does Satan operate? Iblis sets his throne on the water every single morning, and he sends out his army to tempt mankind, one group after the other. The one who is closest to him is the one who can cause the most severe damage to mankind. At the end of the day, they all come back, all these army of shayateen. Then they report to Iblis what they did during the day. One of them says, I have done such and such. Satan says, you have done nothing. A shaitan will come and say, Ya Iblis, I made so-and-so commit adultery. You have done nothing, Iblis will answer. Another says, gamble and drink alcohol. You have done nothing, Iblis will answer. I made a man kill his brother. You have done nothing, Iblis answers. Every single one of them, you have done nothing. The line continues until one of the devils comes to him and says, today, I did not leave so-and-so until I have separated him from his wife. Iblis will get very happy. Iblis brings him close and he puts a crown on his head. He embraces him. He hugs him and says, you are the one. What we learn on this is that, besides all the major sins, Iblis signed as nothing. Recognize how he favors the fitna in form of divorce. Why do you think that is the case? And what are your thoughts about this? Tell me in the comment section about it, and I will address it in subsequent videos and comments, inshallah.
Damn. So we don't have to go to him. we going to Yahawah's to get the answers. And that's what we're going through right now. You understand? So, we know. Yeah, go ahead.
So like, no, that was a deep video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was crazy right there. The way they put it.
Mm-hmm. It's so
Brother
deep.
said,
It went over so many people's heads.
he said I killed somebody. He said you ain't did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
he said I made somebody commit adultery. He said you ain't did nothing. He said I separated a man and his wife. He said yeah, you the one. Man,
just like Esau.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right. So when you look at that, you should really know that the real war we've been in since the beginning of creation, right? The war we've been in this whole time. You know what I'm saying? And in a battle of which, we upholding in the last days. The Lord said marriage is honorable. You understand? That righteous union between a man and a woman is everything, and that spirit, right? That damn accuser, that guy right there, that serpent. You understand? That was weak and cunning, right? He was smooth as hell. He had all the game. You understand? Satan had all of the game, and that's these wicked niggas in the world. You understand? That want to whisper in your wife ear at work. You understand? Say, listen, are you happy at home? Is everything going all right? But then here go the foolish woman that speak. No, I ain't too happy. Nah, we was arguing last night, and there go that slithering snake. You done told the snake everything he wanted to hear. Now he ain't gonna leave you alone until what? He divide that home.
Mm-hmm. and conquer what he came to conquer.
Yeah, he gonna divide that house up, and now he, got a place, where he ain't supposed to be. Right? You got something you want to go into, y'all, Shawan?
I just gotta find something real quick.
Why you find that? Go ahead and keep going.
This is verse 2. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
Right. So she had wisdom and knowledge and understanding, right? Because who told her? The man of understanding, Adam. Adam was breaking it down. You understand? She said, no, God said that I ain't supposed to go over there and messing with that, right? Or we gonna die if we touch it. Go ahead, Yashawan.
This go along with y'all bringing out in Genesis. This the book of Numbers, chapter 27, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
Let the Lord, the God of the spirits of all flesh, set a man over the congregation. So, like you was going into, like dealing with your first congregation, which is your household, right? Where the Lord said, set a man over the congregation, right? So that goes to show you, even when you read in Genesis, the serpent, he didn't go to Adam first, he went to Eve. You see that? Because like you was going into, Adam was already wise enough to not fall for that stuff, right? So that's why the Lord said you got to set a man over the congregation, not just the regular congregation, but dealing with your first congregation, which is your household, right? But that was it on that.
That's right.
Hey, I got a precept right quick, King.
Okay.
This the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 23. And it reads, for the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church. He is the savior of the body. Just precepting what Yashawan said, the husband is the head. He's leading his wife, and you notice, like you say, the serpent didn't go to the husband; he went to the wife. So I yield.
Hey, Salaki King, you can go one precept up, even verse 22, and it tells the wives what they should be doing. Right? You can't have two heads of the household. You got to have one.
That's right.
All praise.
So like, and that caused confusion, right? Like nowadays you got that new saying where they say, it's 50-50, right? That don't make sense. You can't have two leaders, like the brother said. You can't have two leaders at the same time, right? If it's 50-50, that causes confusion even for the children. Cause they're like, well, dang, who do I listen to? At the end of the day, who got the authority? If my mom say one thing, my dad say something else, then that confused the children, right?
And they go running back and forth. Who said, one says yes,
Right.
one says no.
And that's gonna cause chaos in the household, right?
Hey, Salakia, that ties into that saying, the happy life, happy wife crap. You know what I'm saying? That's a bunch of bull. No, it's a happy wife, happy life, or happy life, happy. It goes one of those ways.
Hey, Salaki, I always tell people, I say, look, man, if this thing falls apart, who are people going to look at? Who's people going to look at when this thing falls apart? They're not going to look at your wife. They're going to look at you because you are supposed to be the head. If stuff falls apart financially, if stuff ain't right, they're not going to look at the weaker vessel, like as we just read in the Bible. They're going to look at the husband because the husband is the head. I yield.
And that's another thing too. Like when he going into that happy wife, happy life, like the brother said, that's some BS because even that don't hold weight. Because when we read in Genesis, Adam had dominion over everything, over the cattle, the animals, over he had all the dominion, right? And even that alone wasn't enough for Eve. Because even the serpent was wise enough to deceive her. She like, well, I don't want everything my husband got. I need more than that. The Lord gave my husband everything, dominion over the whole earth, but that's not enough for me. I gotta eat the the fruit from the forbidden tree, right? So sometimes it can never be enough, right?
No, but I was going to be just quick, but I was going to say that just showed you, you know what I'm saying, that a woman couldn't lead because, you know what I'm saying, they're too emotional and they act on their emotions too quick. That's how they always end up in a world of hurt that they don't need to be in. That's all I got to say.
All right. Let's keep rolling on. Let the time roll down.
Verse 4, and the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. Verse 5, for God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise.
All right, stop right there. Stop right there, Salakia, right? Somebody grab Sirach chapter 7, verse 19, right? So I'm sorry, not 7:19. Let me get Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 22. So when you go into that and you understand what's going on here, right? This serpent was wise and very cunning. And when you look at the trickery in the game that he played with the woman right here, right? He said, listen, you're going to get the knowledge of knowing good and evil. And he gave her the understanding that she was going to be as God, right? But what he didn't tell that woman with all thy getting, get understanding, that through you observing and acknowledging this new wisdom and knowledge you're gonna get to know evil. Now you know how to go off. Now you know what's wrong with you, right? Now you done lost that hedge of protection, that covering that was over you, because the Most High is not the author of confusion. That woman got tricked into giving away life. So she gained wisdom to be as God, to be as Adam. She wanted to be in that same position, like the brother was saying, at 50-50. So even with that knowledge and that wisdom of knowing this information now, she lost the sense of knowing that now you must die. Because now that you obtain that wisdom to know evil, through the knowledge of evil, is how you're going to die.
Big
right?
time.
But go ahead.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 4, verse 22.
Mm-hmm.
For my people is foolish.
Mm-hmm.
They have not known me.
Mm-hmm.
They are sottish children, and they have none understanding.
What understanding? The understanding of God's law, statutes, and commandments. The understanding of the true order. You understand? The understanding to know that hey, listen, your husband, your head is what he is for a reason. He has the strength and might that he has for a reason. He has the wisdom that the Lord put in him for a reason, just like you have your wisdom as well. Right? But what knowledge and understanding shall you have to make it into God's kingdom going forward? When this earth and this heaven pass away, what knowledge are you going to be up under? Are you going to be under the knowledge of the 1/3? Or are you going to be under the knowledge of the 2/3? Right? Go ahead.
They are wise to do evil.
See, our people are wise to take that knowledge from the garden to do evil, to be a mischievous people, right? A people that's quick to run to mischief. A people that only acknowledge wicked things and evil things, right? So we are wise to do evil, right? Go ahead.
But to do good, they have no knowledge.
To keep God's law, statutes, and commandments, man, we don't have that knowledge, right? We under that Hosea 4:6 spirit. You understand? We don't even want to be corrected, right? The scriptures say fools hate knowledge, right? So what are you going to be under as the spirit of correction coming to the earth in the last days? Are you going to get upset with a lesson and say, "Oh, it sound like they talking about women too much over here. I'm out of here"? No, because understand this: we're rightfully correct in measure. I just said it. We go out on the highways and the byways, you understand, to fulfill the commandment that was given to those that would take this word in the last day. And we correct men on every weekend in perfect measure. You look at any of these videos, right? But it's rare that we actually, we could only teach a lesson to put a woman in a certain perspective in a classroom setting like this, because women ain't got patience, man. Our women got too much stuff to do. Right? But you got some? Anybody? I thought I heard something.
Hey, Slocky, real quick, man. Something I realized it just hit me. Man, as much as I read these precept stuff, Adam still didn't divorce Eve. He lost the world and he kept her. What reason do anybody else have to divorce somebody? So like I yield on that.
Hey, that's why Moses was writing those letters. He Moses is like, man, listen, these brothers, But let's go ahead.
You want Genesis or more Jeremiah?
Yeah. No, Genesis 3.
Con, it's the book of
verse
Genesis.
6. Let's finish verse 6.
Con, it's the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked.
Right.
And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice of Yahweh God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God amongst the trees of the garden.
Hey, Salati, can you jump to verse 13?
Verse 13. And Yahweh God said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done?
Right.
And
What is this that you, matter of fact, go up a little, Salati. Go up verse yeah, just go to 11, Salati. My bad.
Captain. And he said, Who told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree?
Right.
Whereof I command thee that thou shouldest not eat.
Right.
Verse 12. And the man said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me.
There go that accuser right there. What did he say? He said, look, it's that woman you brought to me.
Right.
You brought her here, Lord.
Right.
He said, look, I was totally fine following all your commandments and your rules, man. But the woman you brought to me, the woman I was listening to this woman, man. You know what I mean? This woman, she said it was good, it was desirable, and it'll make us wise, Adam. And he said he did eat. So he went to pointing that finger right at that woman. No self-examination whatsoever. He went off by following the woman when he was supposed to be leading the woman. He wasn't supposed to let his eyes off his woman. He wasn't supposed. Why do you think the Lord said, don't give the woman liberty to go abroad? Right? We ain't supposed to just give our women liberty to get abroad, to be out of our sight, man. Because now we got all these tricksters out here. You know, now she getting wisdom from places she not supposed to be getting it from.
Oh.
All right, so but go ahead.
Verse 13. And Yahweh God said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me. And
There it is again. Hold on. Now, hey, listen, she had perfect time to see what Adam said and where he blamed her. She didn't acknowledge her own fault either, with all the wisdom that she gained. She said, you know what? Nah, it's the serpent over here. That's the real, the smooth talker over here. He got me. He got me, Lord. You understand? But you want to know, you're going to be without excuse on that day, man. Matter of fact, let me get Romans 1:20 real quick. You understand? Because you're going to be without excuse. You're not just going to be able to point that finger, you understand? And while he get that, somebody grab 2 Corinthians 13:5. And if somebody else could grab Lamentations chapter 3, verse 40. All right. So the book of Romans chapter 1, verse 20.
I got it. The book of Romans chapter 1, verse 20. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made.
Right. Everything that was seen from the beginning of creation, everything that was made in perfect order, understood, right, what that order was. Go ahead.
Even his eternal power and Godhead.
What is his eternal power and Godhead? You got the Father, right? You got the Heavenly Son, right? That's right there. And then you got that righteous order that's in the earth, right? You got that man, that leader. Then you got that woman that was placed there, that other spirit. And then you got the children that fall up under that, right? The whole total Godhead from the heavens to the earth, right? What's bound in the earth is bound in the heavens, right? Go ahead.
Even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse.
Right. You're going to be without excuse on that day. You're not going to be able to stand before your maker and your creator and come up with a bunch of excuses and pointing your damn fingers at why you didn't get yourself right. Right? People got a million reasons for why, you know, they ain't doing what they supposed to do. It's always somebody else instead of themselves. Right? My household fell apart. Let me blame my husband, you know. But he wasn't a good enough leader. You know, he didn't have the best job. You understand? Right? My wife, she don't listen. She's yelling. She's doing this, that, and the third. Right? We still gotta have patience to deal with each other in the spirit of Christ. Right? In the Hamashiach YAHAWAH'S, that's how we're supposed to roll in the last days. That suffering spirit, humility, right? At the end of the day, for one another, love, true love, man, that comes through the commandments. Right? So let me get that 2 Corinthians 13:5.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 13, verse 5. Examine yourself whether ye be in the faith.
Right. You got to examine yourself to see if you stand, if you could stand, you know, in that judgment, man, to see if you could stand and understand what your position and your power is in the last days, right? How to correct yourself. You got to examine yourself in order to know how to correct other people. Go ahead.
Prove your own selves.
You got to prove your own self, right? Forget about trying. We always trying to prove something to somebody else. Prove your own self, man. Go ahead.
Know ye not your own selves. How that Yahawashi Hamashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates.
Right, except ye be can't get rights. You understand that movie Life? You see that brother, he just couldn't get right, right? No matter what was going on, he just couldn't get right to the point where he had a name, can't get right. You're a reprobate. You just can't get right, right? You cannot put off this weak flesh. You can't put on the total spirit that you had in you from the time when you was a baby, when you had no knowledge of good and evil, when you didn't know what was wrong with you. Right? Let me get Lamentations 3:40.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 40. And it reads, let us search and try our ways and turn again to Yahweh.
Right. Let us search and try our ways and turn again unto Yahweh. How do we search and try our ways? Right? Through these scriptures. Through these ancient manuscripts to get our understanding and wisdom, to know how to correct ourselves and measure, to bring ourselves back to the complete order of the Most High. Right? That's how we return back to the Lord. When you set that man up, right, sisters, you know, when you set that man up in total order over you as if he's Christ in your house, right? As if he's the Messiah walking in your dwelling place. That's the presence of that man that's walking in righteousness in the last days. That's set to be a ruler in this earth, right? That's what we're supposed to be raising up as a people, not tearing down. You know, we tearing down the Most High's kingdom as he's building it. You know, in foolishness. You know, we instead of you know, at least you know, Cain slew his brother, you know, with weapons of war. You know, now we out here slewing each other with knowledge. You know. Yeah, I got 100% the truth, brother. Them niggas over there don't know what they talking about. When we gonna return unto the Lord and clean up, you know, like we supposed to, so we can get ready, you know, for this preparation for the
Hey,
war.
don't call me no king. You better call me priest or sir.
Wow. All right, so let's wind this down, man. Let me go back to Genesis chapter 3, verse 13.
That's that madness.
You're exactly right. But that's the thing that we see.
Salakia, we're gonna be going for much longer. I gotta run.
Brother, but if you know, I'm gonna go through one more. I'm gonna cut it short after this.
Okay, fine.
This the book.
Go to somebody grab 2 Ezra chapter 3. Matter of fact, how about this? I'll end it right here on this Genesis, and we'll continue on 2 Ezra.
This the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 13.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahweh God said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahweh God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle,
Mm-hmm.
and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go,
Mm-hmm.
and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed.
Mm-hmm.
It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel.
Mm-hmm.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly.
Go ahead.
Verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to rule thy husband.
Now read that again.
And thy desire shall be to rule thy husband. Oh, Salakia.
Mm-hmm.
And thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
Right. And it says, right? So the Most High is going to greatly multiply thy sorrows and thy conception, right? So where our sisters seem to be very confused mentally, many of them, right? And you know, we got to deal with our women, you know, with wisdom, you know, and you know, try to build our sisters up in these last days and have patience, you know. But I got to be honest, man, a lot of our sisters is just too hard for their own good. You know, you don't even know when a brother's trying to save you in the last days, man, because you got it all figured out. You got all of the wisdom.
Hey, Salakia, precept real quick.
All right, go ahead.
This is Titus chapter 2, and I'm not going to do from start from 3, but just first.
No, hold that. That'll go on to the next portion.
Okay, con.
Yeah. All right. So let's continue here.
Come, verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife,
Mm-hmm.
and has eaten of the tree of which.
Well, hold on. Let's catch that. Let me catch that last part up there on 16, Salathia.
Come.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be unto thy husband.
And thy desire, right? Many of our women, you find they desire jewelry, what their appearance is, makeup, the top job that they have, the house that they may look to purchase. Our women desire everything else but that man, right? So when are you going to come back and start to desire that man who should be the image of the Creator, right? That man is the closest thing to what you're going to see as a representation of the Creator, right? He said, let us make man in our image, in our likeness. That's how man was created. So when you look down on your man, you're looking down on your Creator. So he said, and your desire shall be towards your husband, and he shall do what?
And he shall rule over thee.
Hey, you understand that. That's not something, that's not a problem to allow and totally submit yourself to your king and allow him to rule over you. That's the position that your creator made you in. You lost your way through the garden. You lost your way through that tree, through that knowledge, right? And you got to ask yourself, it said that it had the ability to make one wise, right? And when you acknowledge that and you see what takes place from the womb, aren't our women more mature than men on a rapid level when they're going through early stages of adolescence? Right? It's only later on where young men actually put on that spirit to become men and gain that wisdom, and our maturity thoughts are those that succeed much of what our women produce. Right? Because that's the way the Most High set it up from the beginning. But go ahead, King, keep on going.
Verse 17. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife.
Right, because you took time to listen to that woman, right? You didn't hold fast on what I gave you, the orders, the commandments, right? Let's see if the men that you know are upholding to what this curse is in this commandment from, the fall in the garden. Let's see if the men are upholding their end of the bargain here. Go ahead.
And has eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee. And thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread.
In the sweat of your face shall you eat bread, right? What the scripture say? A man that don't work, he don't eat. So I think we got men out here working. They sweating like hell. Right? I know for a fact, right? We got men out here at work. We got to get our fringes together, right? We gotta pay these bills. We gotta do all these things, right? That we gotta do to sustain ourselves. So men are out here sweating by that hard labor, that work, that bondage, that oppression, of a heathen nation ruling over us. We got to deal with every single day. We got to punch that damn clock. And not saying the women don't have to do it either, right? But that's what women align themselves to. There was a time where women didn't have to go to work. There was a time where a man could, totally provide for the whole care of the home. But the system purposely took that away so he can raise you up. Right? But go ahead.
Verse 19, in the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground, for out of it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, and until dust shalt thou return. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because
don't that sound like what Job said? He said, I came in here naked and I'm going out naked.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Verse 20, and Adam called his wife's name Eve, because
now they giving him a name. Now you done changed his names up, right? Now your name is Eve now. All right, go ahead.
Because she was the mother of all living.
Right.
Unto Adam also and to his wife did Yahawah God make coats of skin and clothe them. And Yahawah God said, behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever.
All right, we're gonna close. We're gonna stop right there. All right. And you know, it's a crying shame, you know, when you go into this in totality to understand, you know, that we lost our rightful rule, we lost our kingdom to rule on this earth, we lost our immortality, the ability to live forever, the access to paradise where the tree of life lays, right? The Most High had to seal it up so we would not be able to locate how to sustain ourselves. And now we're in a position where we're being poisoned and polluted by the many trees and the falseness of the world that we're living in right now, right? So with the first portion of this lesson, I want to give all glory and honor to our Creator, right, whose name is YAHAWAH'S, and we are the servants of the Lord in the last days to bring forth edifying lessons to the nation of Israel and to try to clean up the nation of Israel on all costs in the last days, right? So we got another part 2 coming that we're going to add on to this lesson to the power and spirit of our creators in the last days. Any brother got anything they want to say?
Yeah, powerful lesson. But good lesson. Good lesson. The Water King.
Praise to the Most High, Yahawashi.
That was a mighty lesson, King.
All praise. All right. So with that, man, we're gonna close out this this Wednesday night Warzone session through the spirit and building the nation up in the last days, man. I want to give a mighty salute to the elders of Israel, right, that's still laboring in the last days. I want to give a mighty salute to the men that go out on the highways and the byways in the last days, right? And I want to give a mighty salute to the women that are operating in the spirit of Sarah in total obedience in the last days, right? And to the 12 tribes that are scattered abroad that know and don't know that they're Israel. It's time to join yourself as one stick in the last days. Put away your differences, you know, put away all of your offenses and come together in unity and love, man. Because, hey, we've been at war from the garden and we at war now. And, hey, man, listen, we about to be in some trying times, man. And we're going to need that brother next to us. We're going to need that sister that's next to us, man. And them children that we got to protect and bring up, you know, for the nation in the last days, man. So I'm going to yield and shut it down on that note, man, until y'all see us again in the spirit. Lord willing, we come to you again with another edifying lesson next Wednesday. You know, for the nation, we serve the people in the last days. All right. All glory and honor to our Maker. I want to say the Water Yahweh, the Water Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kahala Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Barakatah, and Shalom.
Shalom. Kwam Yashar.
Kwam Yashar.
Shalom. Kwam Yashar.
Can't nobody do it like Malak. We still live?
Con, we gotta go out with some music, King.
Yeah. You know what time it is. Back like I never left. Shout out to Drewski. Drewski, that is. Yeah. Let's go. Hey, yo. They counted me out. I started counting up. I'm no pretender. 12 tribe representative from some of the